Hello, hello,
Oh,
everybody.
let's
If
go. That's amazing.
you ain't first, you're last.
Oh, yeah. That's great, mate.
Happy Halloween week, everybody. Post
Likewise,
the
likewise.
itinerary here in the chat. See how long I can wear these glasses for. So we're gonna go over a couple things today. Go over the some of the latest updates that we pushed last week, as well as a quick overview of some of the webhook stuff based off of customer questions. And then, of course, we'll go over the general Q&A at the end of the meeting. And if you happen to be wearing your Halloween costume, let me know and we'll add some more. We'll add $100 into your account. Ready. All right. So we got a couple things that went out last week, a couple new currencies, and we're working on getting the translations for Japanese done as well. That should be updated shortly. Once the translation files are generated and created, then we can more easily update that. So we're getting that work done. In addition to those two new currencies and language, and mentioning languages, we're also working on the Brazilian Portuguese as well. So we just need to help getting that translated correctly, and then we'll get that one updated as well. A couple other things in general. There was a small issue with the scraped characters count. That's now been rectified and resolved. So that now only the characters that are active are being counted towards the. We're getting a couple other things in here for helping explain where transactions are happening. So we're improving the billing settings page, and so that's definitely going to be something that we improve over time. There you go, Tim. Is that a horse
I love
mask?
it.
It's funny. Some other quick fixes on the AI agent and chatbot sides of things, in addition to, like I mentioned, the billing. I'm not going to read each of these word by word, but a couple ones to mention would be so now that anytime there's an email field, it's comma separated, so you can add multiple emails in there, and that will allow for multiple client emails to be sent at once, or notification emails if you want to be added to that as well. And then other one, so we got the conversation history added to the lead collection. Somebody was asking about that, I think a week or two ago. So that's now live and updated. You can now download all your invoices even after a plan is canceled. So you can make sure everything is tracked correctly. Let's see, some of the more Google Meets details are added now in the webhook send, which is one of the things I wanted to mention today. Yeah, so that's about all the things that we've been updating. We're also working on some of our other expanded features, which are going to include things like voice and live chat and more human handoff functionality as well. So stay tuned for all of those. Of course, you can always see the roadmap at roadmap.stammer.ai and see the changelog, or if you have any other ideas, you can submit them to the ideas roadmap board and then upvote other ones that you'd like us to work on next. All right. Tim, I just see you smiling like a little kid over there.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw the picture I just took of the horse head, and it's as ridiculous as I thought. So
I even got the big red gum.
amazing costume.
Forget the
That's
line. It's
great.
like if you don't chew big red, then fuck you, I think is the line.
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I was wondering if I should go full like shave my mustache too, but I was like, I don't know if I want to go that.
Nah, the mustache is actually more fitting for
Right?
Respect
I think
Driver.
so too.
Right? It looks, yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, for everyone who recently joined, we're just going over some general stuff. I'm going to go over a quick webhook tutorial, and then if you have any questions, we can go over those in a minute. Please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to those shortly. All right. So webhook stuff. These are all questions and things. I got to take these off. I can't see. So throughout the week, Drew, myself, Tim, rest of the team, we talk with a lot of customers and we get feedback on what people might be struggling with from like a concept or fundamental point of view versus something that might be more of like a tutorial and how to actually use the platform. And so what I wanted to showcase is kind of general information on top of how to use that general information within Stammer and potentially one of the other more common platforms that a lot of agencies use, which is GoHighLevel. SiteRight is my white labeled version of GoHighLevel. That's the agency that I've been running for over 10 years now. So the idea with webhooks is how we're going to be sending data to and from different places. So we have the ability to take data from Stammer and send it via a webhook to another platform like GoHighLevel. But we also have the ability to like see that data inside Stammer, so that way everything matches up one to one. And there's a couple of different ways that you can do this via the API, the white label API. And this allows you to set up an endpoint, which is a name for a URL. And when we start talking about APIs and endpoints and webhooks and all these things, if you're a developer and very technical, those all might mean different things. But when we're talking about it from more of a no code point of view, these all generally mean the same thing. So if I reference a API endpoint or a webhook, we're kind of talking about generally the same concepts here. So especially if you're starting to talk with your clients and trying to get the chatbots integrated into their systems, some of those questions might be about, how do I get all of the lead data from when an AI agent is talking with a user into my CRM? And that will look slightly different based off of, the different scenario that you want to do. And so just to quickly start with that specific scenario inside any AI agent or chatbot, and you can go to the leads tab. And if you set up the leads tab in order to collect lead information, you can send the collected data to this webhook URL. And so this webhook URL can be generated from another platform like GoHighLevel, which allows us to create a webhook URL like so. And this creates a connection between Stammer and GoHighLevel in this scenario, where we can send data from Stammer to this URL, which GoHighLevel can then receive that data via that URL and then be able to take that data and apply it to a contact or generate or trigger a workflow automation that is using all of that data. So in that scenario, you could create an update to your sales pipeline with new opportunities. You could send off other text messages or other information, whatever it may be. But this is how you're able to essentially keep all of the data tied together when you're using multiple different platforms. And this is the easiest and simplest way because most platforms, most CRMs will give you this ability to get a webhook URL that you can then use to send data to and from. So a lot of the examples that we've been doing are off of the most common platforms like GoHighLevel, Zapier, HubSpot. I believe we did one on Zoho as well. And it's all the same flow. You just have to be able to get that URL and then paste it in. The same can be said for scheduling meetings as well. The same can also be said for entire summaries or data of a specific conversation. And so we give you guys a couple different options based off of the feedback that we've seen from our agencies who are actively selling and talking with their customers, and they're getting feedback from their customers, sharing that feedback with us. That helps us create a better platform overall. There we go, Paul. Love the costume. Winner, winner. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and everyone else for joining. We just went over a couple quick updates on the roadmap. We're working on getting the other translation files done for Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese. There's a lot of bug fixes and things. The main things to be of note is you can now send multiple emails, updates. So now you can add in multiple email addresses via comma separation. And then the conversation history is now included with lead collection data as well. And a couple other issues within the billing section for the agency settings. And then we just went over a quick tutorial on how to send and receive webhook data based off of the different scenarios. So I'll wrap it up here before we go into the Q&A section. One of the most common flows that I see, or when I talk to agencies, they tell me that they're generating is when somebody talks with an AI agent, but not necessarily on the website. You can do this in many different ways. if your client already has their social media accounts connected to something like a CRM like GoHighLevel, you can use the white label API, which again uses these webhook URLs to be able to send data to and from back and forth to message the AI agent, but the conversation is still happening within something like Instagram that is through GHL. And the reason why I bring this up and the reason why this is beneficial to your end customers is all of these conversations are now happening within one conversation window. And so this allows you to set up further automations based off of what it is that the client wants to have happen. Of course, you can connect everything directly through the native integrations for Meta, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, but it really depends on how your customer is using these different platforms. So if you have heavier automations or sequences that is collecting their data through something like a social media application, you can then wrap all that up into an automation sequence that not only handles the conversation on the social media channel, but could also handle conversations within text messages or further follow-ups or whatever it may be. Tim, anything you want to bring up or mention?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so I've got three things here. First off, thank you to those of you who have started providing more information in the tickets from the get-go. It makes it so much easier for us to start debugging and troubleshooting what the issue is. And since this is a white label platform, it really helps if you guys consider us as like your development team. So provide as much information as you can, just like you would to your development team, right? It really just benefits you in the end because it means we don't have to have a lot of back and forth, and we can often just kind of give it to the devs or just look at it and understand it, and they can quickly jump on it. One technique I really like to do that it will save you a lot of time, and I even do this with our own developers, record a Loom video, right, explaining the situation, but don't necessarily send us the Loom video. What I do then is I take the transcript of that video while I'm explaining the issue. I pipe it into an AI like ChatGPT or Claude, and I say, hey, clean this up so I can open an issue with the developers. I put some prompt like that, right? And it does a fantastic job of looking at that transcript and putting it into an easy to read written form that explains everything. Of course, the Loom video can help as well, so you may want to include that as part of it. The other thing is if you guys are having any issues at all with the scraper, definitely let us know. Just open a ticket and include the URLs you're trying to scrape that are failing for some reason, and then describe the issue that's happening. We released the advanced scraper a few weeks ago, and there may be some little edge cases we need to clear up on some of the sites. We also added support for multiple URLs. So there could be some edge cases there we need to solve, but just let us know. Also, we think at this point we've cleaned up all of the meta issues that we've encountered. So with the meta integrations like Facebook, WhatsApp, the other I'm forgetting, Instagram, I guess. But let us know if you're still having issues. We have one customer who's having issues with his white label side. And so far, we are not able to resolve that issue because it's working fine for everyone else. And we're trying to figure out why is this one guy having an issue. But let us know if you're still having any issues at all with the meta integrations. And definitely try to include as much details as you can. Like, is it happening in your white label side? What exactly happens that causes an issue? Is it throwing an error message to you? Stuff like that. And I think that is it. As always, if you guys have any questions, any issues, just feel free to open a ticket or ping us in Discord. If we don't, the Discord traffic is getting heavier. So if we do not respond to your thing in Discord, which we're trying hard every day to do so, but if not, just ping us again in Discord and we will get to it. Or open a ticket, which is even better because we can't lose tickets as easily.
That being said, Discord is for help and support, where if you have a question or need something that is not necessarily an issue. If there's actually a problem, we need a ticket to be created in order for us to effectively and efficiently solve that problem, because we have to log into your account, get your account details, all these things, and nobody's account name is their agency email, which is always fun to get in Discord. But yeah, we're continuing to improve and stabilize everything as much as possible. The one thing I will mention is a lot of the kind of like side issues with Meta is not properly having the Meta accounts set up for a business, which can be very difficult if you've never done that before or if you're getting access to another business client. So one of the things I would recommend is before connecting anything natively, make sure that inside your business settings, they have a business WhatsApp phone number set up if that's the integration that you're going for, and the correct permissions are added for not only you who has access and potentially is the one connecting it, but anybody else that will have that, because that will be needed in order to have that connection be resolved. Cool. Following up on that, if anybody has any questions, go into the QA section here. Paul, is that just like a jester costume? Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. Not on mute.
There you go.
Yeah, just a jester. Been around for a while, and I thought, oh, I'll put that on and cheer
Love it.
everybody up.
Oh, I love it.
That's a great costume. Wow.
That's fantastic. How's everything going with you? Any recent wins lately, or anything going on?
Yeah, just getting through stuff at the moment, really. Trying to get a few bits and pieces sorted, little bits and pieces ironed out, finding, just little things that just I'm one of those guys that loves it. I'm very much attention to detail. And it can be difficult for me at times when I'm trying to get things that are where I see the details and they're not quite there. But I also understand from you guys' perspective, you've got a lot of things going on, you're building out a lot, and you're doing very well. It's a great platform. It's just trying to get the little bits and pieces sorted from there. I've put quite a few people your way as well. So
Oh, fantastic. Cool. Yeah, thanks for the kind words. We're really trying to, I guess, beef up the platform so that way we can start releasing some of these other larger features that people have been requesting for a little while now, but we wanted to make sure that we're not releasing anything prematurely where it potentially could affect other things. So we're doing our due diligence on those features like voice and live chat and things like that, which are going to be very exciting to release in the near future.
yeah, that's good.
Cool. Anybody have any general questions or ideas or any wins they want to brag about for the week? Halloween parties anybody's going to?
Well, I've got a costume if anyone wants to invite me.
Yeah, it's interesting now. It's on a Thursday this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about going down to like Fremont Street or something, like to just see the craziness. I can't imagine the downtown Las Vegas on Halloween night. What craziness.
Oh,
would
it must be
down there.
crazy down there.
It'd be probably real
Insane.
scary.
Have you been, Ross?
Not during Halloween.
Neither have I. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
Halloween's pretty big for you guys over in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I went to 2 parties this weekend alone. So yeah, it is pretty big. It's mostly it's a kids heavy thing though, right? A lot of kids stuff.
Well, they're one of the last podcasts I was listening to was talking about how it's like a multi-billion-dollar holiday now, and I think
Really?
group chat was talking about it, and they were saying like 1.3 billion is spent on just candy.
That is, wow.
Wow.
Like just candy. But then you think of like all the charcuterie boards, all the wine, all the alcohol, like all the costumes, all the decorations. I saw a video of a woman charging $1,000 just to decorate front porches of people's houses with pumpkins.
Right.
Like, and she does like $1 million in revenue for 1 month of work for the year. Like,
Wow.
I guess you're right.
crazy.
It's pretty large because yeah, I mean, we had a pumpkin carving party a few weeks ago. A lot of stuff goes on over the month before it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, here in the UK, we finish it pretty quickly because we're straight into November the 5th and fireworks and everything else, which you guys don't have.
What
Yeah,
is November the 5th?
Yeah, what is that?
November the 5th is Guy Fawkes Day, which is when Guy
Oh.
Fawkes
Oh,
back
Remember,
in the
yeah.
remember, yeah.
yeah, back in the day decided he'd blow up Parliament and missed and didn't. So we celebrate that in sort of like a weird way as well by dressing up guys and things and having huge bonfires and all sorts of
Oh,
other
that's
different bits and
interesting.
pieces. So yeah, we go from
really
so
cool.
the shops go from all the Halloween costumes and then they're all selling fireworks and other bits and pieces as well. So we sort of it all mingles in together. And of course, Christmas as well is big for us over here. So we start Christmas in about the beginning of October in terms of being able to buy stuff in the supermarkets. So yeah.
I was at Walmart the other day and they already have Christmas stuff up. Like, and this was like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. That being said, to segue back to more relevant stuff, what this reminded me of, like, I mean, Halloween has always been, I think, a big thing, but the amount of money that's going into it now is, I think, just increasing year by year, which reminds me of how one of the common conversations I've been having lately with Tim and other people is how the market for AI in general is just young still.
Yeah.
And when I go out in real life and I start talking with other people about this stuff, maybe they've used ChatGPT before, like that's a good kind of barrier to entry, but beyond that, it's nothing. Like people have no idea that there are multiple different platforms. People don't have like, or even models at this point.
Talking to one of the baristas in our local coffee shop, and he asked what I was doing because I was sat there doing some stuff, and I said, "Oh, I'm doing some AI," and he said, "Oh, what's that? What's AI stand for?" I said, "You haven't heard of AI?" So even at that level, it was literally, no idea what AI was.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I think we as developers and as agencies and as people that are really keen on it and following it, we don't realize quite how far behind everybody else is. So yeah,
Yeah.
we just tend to think that everybody knows what we're talking about, and of course they don't.
Exactly. And that brings me to a good point. If you're getting discouraged doing like reaching out or cold calling, cold emailing, cold DMing, a lot of the reasons why people are maybe not responding right now or yet is because they're not even aware of what the value is or what it even stands for. So trying to sell them something that they've never even heard of before is going to be a little bit more tricky than trying to solve a problem that they know that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Early
here
market.
at uni,
Yeah.
everybody uses AI for academic purposes, right? But outside of that group, like you say, it's zero knowledge.
Interesting. And I'm sure they're using it for, I mean, like you said, academic, so writing papers or screenshotting the quizzes to give them answers or things like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, also this kind of help, summarizing stuff. Yeah, just yeah, notes. No, note taking is quite big using ChatGPT. So
That makes
instead of
sense.
just yeah, that works. But yeah,
Yeah.
outside of that, like as a proper tool, not just as a
Maybe.
business tool, yeah, not really, not really.
It's still early. All right. Thanks everyone
Love
for
it.
joining today's office hours. And says I think the key issue is they're not sure how AI can help them. They need maybe someone like us to help find their pain point. Exactly. Exactly. I've been working on, I'm gonna film a short form video soon about how business owners just want to focus on their business. They don't care about literally anything else. And one of the good kind of like litmus tests for that examples is websites. It's as easy as it's ever been for a business owner to design their own website with all the other things, but yet business owners still will go to agencies or other places to have them help create that for them because they don't want to do it. So same for AI, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity for agencies in general to use platforms like Stammer to get their foot in the door, to showcase to these businesses that they're a legitimate and reputable person that can help them with their online endeavors. And that will, I guarantee that leads to more business and more opportunities and upsells and things. It's never not happened for me with a client. Like, and I've talked to dozens and dozens of agencies who basically say the same thing. All right, enough yapping. Thanks everyone for joining. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy Halloween, guys.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Thanks. See
See
you
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.